Hi, I'm Maggie from MAGGIE'S and I'm here with all these scarves that I have arm knitted, and I've had a little bit of help with this. At this point, I've arm knitted an afghan, and then I've arm knitted all of these scarves in various yarns. So by doing this many projects, I've learned a lot of tips that will help you to be a better arm knitter. And some of the tips include how to use multiple strands like I did here. This is using everything from like zero weight to City Life ladder yarn and then a worsted weight yarn mixed together. And then there's tips in how to measure your yarn, how to mix and match colors and dye lots and your gauge, and using the beginning and the end of a ball to create 2 strands, or create like even 4 strands out of 1 skein of yarn. Adding yarn, what to do if you need to take it off your arm, what if you wanted to bind off on an opposite arm. I show you how to do that. So I am madly in love with arm knitting, and I used to knit when I was very young, and I was pretty good at it actually. I wouldn't even know how to do what I used to do when I was young. But anyway, I just love this. I just think it's a lot of fun, and I've been teaching my friends also. And I love teaching people because I can slow the whole process down and see where they struggle, and then I can create good tips for you, and that's what I want to share in this video series. So this is Lion Brand Homespun. This is Starbella. This is Starbella Flash. This is Deborah Norville Serenity Chunky Yarn. This is a mix of Premier Yarn, City Life, Eversoft, and Enchant Yarn. This is actually a 12-foot scarf that I made using three strands of Deborah Norville Serenity Chunky in chocolate. But all of these are in separate videos, and this is just to introduce all of the tips that I have for you. And then this afghan was done in Deborah Norville Serenity Chunky also. So anyway, let's get started on your tips, and make sure that you watch all of them. There's probably going to be about 20 at least 20 tips in this series. And I want to thank you for watching. And if you have any questions or comments, just write them below, and the links to all the videos and everything will be listed below. Thank you. So for this tip, I want to show you how to deal with multiple strands of yarn. I created this scarf, and I learned a lot of great tips from this experience, and I wanted to share some of those with you. So when you're going to have multiple strands, let's say you only need probably about 75 yards per strand for a scarf. So let's say you have a skein of yarn that's 150 yards, so you know that you can get 2 strands out of that one. So I pull one from the middle and one from the outside. So I would pull up the 2 ends, and then I would throw that one into a bucket on the floor or up on a table like this. And then let's say I wanted to get really creative, and like I did here, and I wanted to use 2 strands maybe of City Life from Premier. So I would take the label off that and get the end from the middle and from the outside, and then I would drop that one into another bucket like this. And then let's say, oh, I want to try this Enchant yarn. So this one, you would have to wind off the 75 yards or measure off 75 yards and then roll that into a ball if you wanted to create more than 1 strand coming off this. And since it is about 400 yards, you could get at least 4 or 5 lengths for a scarf for this. But it really adds a lot. That's what I used in here. I used 3 strands of the Enchant yarn. So then you would create the little separate balls of that and then drop that into another container. And then let's say I wanted to add spangle. And I actually think that the City Life yellow, the spangle, and the gold would make a beautiful scarf. So this is how you would do that. You would just drop all the different strands into a different bucket. So let me just show you what that would kind of look like. That was funny. Something popped up at me. Okay, so then you would take all your strands together like this. And I would actually have more strands here. But let me see. And I figured out something else really cool to do too. Okay, so I would pick up the ends of all my strands, and I would have probably more than this, but just so you get the idea. So all your strands are going to be pulling from here, and it's actually easier, I think, to have this on the floor. Just pull it up like this, and then roll this into a ball, and then roll at least 75 yards for your scarf, and then you can work from a strand that's all put together. Now another option, instead of rolling that into a ball, is to just measure off a couple of yards, and every couple of yards just put in a slip knot, and then just keep doing that all the way down the strand. And then you could like wrap this around a big piece of cardboard or whatever you wanted to do. So anyway, that's the tip for arm knitting with multiple strands of yarn. Thank you for watching, and make sure that you watch all the other arm knitting tips and the videos for these scarves. Definitely done with the long tail right now, because there's only groups of 4 on my arm right now. Doesn't that look beautiful, those shades of blue? Down, or something happens where you drop it, you don't want all your stitches to unravel. So for the next group, you skip that one.